Hi, boys and girls. This is Miss Caps, and today I wanted to discuss with you something that's kind of that's very important. This month is always been known as Black History Month, and that's when we talk about famous Black Americans, what their contributions to this wonderful country was and is, and how we can celebrate them. And since we're talking about buildings, we're doing our building study. I thought it would be great if we talked about the first African American to become an architect. And this was a very long time ago. His name was Robert R. Taylor. Here is a picture I will show you. That's Robert R. Taylor. And he became the first African American to become an architect. He was famous for building buildings. These are some of his blueprints, some of his first blueprints. Remember, we talked about blueprints as needed. He taught at the Tuskegee Institute, and that's Booker T. Washington, who started the first African American college, and that was the Tuskegee Institute. And while he was at this institute, he built buildings like this. Look at the different structure of the shapes. We've talked about different shapes in architect. And when we talk about our buildings, we've talked about all the different shapes. And that's that's his first building that he built at, and that's his class. He had a class. He taught a class at the Tuskegee Institute, architectural drawing. I'm sure blueprints. There's Booker T. I'm sorry, that's George Washington Carver. That's one of my favorite African Americans. He was a botanist. He also went to taught at the Tuskegee Institute. This is another one of his buildings. This is the science hall at the Tuskegee Institute, which he built. Look at the different shapes like we've talked about him using. There's arches over the windows. There's the inside of the cathedral that he built. And sadly, it was burned to the ground in 1959. But it was a beautiful building. He loved that building. There is his wife, Beatrice Taylor. And this is the home he built. He designed for the President Booker T. Washington of the Tuskegee Institute. He built that for the president to live in. Tuskegee Institute of the Tuskegee Institute. That was Booker T. Washington, and all of his family lived there as well. But that was designed by Mr. Taylor. As you can see, it's still at the Institute, the Tuskegee Institute. Huntington Hall. This is another one of his buildings he designed. Look at the different structures. Look at all the chimneys they had to use. And there is a picture of Mr. Robert Taylor himself. He taught at the Tuskegee Institute for 20-some years. There's another building that he designed. In 1901, And there is another building he designed. Look. Look at the different structures he used to build that. I want you guys to draw a building. There's another building. Dorothy Hall. I love the columns. All these buildings were designed by Mr. Robert R. Taylor. Robert Robinson Taylor. There he is. The first African American to graduate from the Massachusetts Institute of Technology in 1899. Very important African American. All of his buildings that he did, that he designed, he had blueprints for. So he was a designer, and he also helped build those buildings. He was influential in showing his students how to make brick and build the buildings themselves. I mean, he knew how to do the whole cycle of building and doing the blueprints. And he said, you have to have blueprints. So what I want you guys to do is I want you guys to make a blueprint for me. I want you to draw a building that you would like to see made. And that's going to be called your blueprint. And we're going to talk more about blueprints, and I'm going to show you some more blueprints, actual blueprints. That's a design. That's how you show your designs. So, boys and girls, I want you to have fun. I want you to remember you can email or text Miss Caps anytime you need some help. Mommies and daddies have my number. And remember, as always, I love you guys, and I will see you again soon.